Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, this episode, let's just say, had a couple of issues. Nothing major, but just certain little things that was just like, the hell. So, let's start where we last left off with Brady and Victor telling Eli that Kristen didn't stab him. So he comes out and he's like, well, she didn't stab me, and yeah, I lied, I made it up. So we good, right? Like, wait, are you serious? Eli's like, no, we're not good. So, and he goes on for a good minute talking about she didn't do it. I just want to break up Brady and her. You know, I didn't really like her. I felt like she was being a leash, this, that, and the third. Eli's like, okay, all right. So here's the problem with that. Not only do I not believe it because I don't believe it, but there's a problem. There's a little detail of like who did stab me. And that's when I was just like, see, I expected, I would expect some half-cocked fucking plan from Brady. You know, I would expect Brady to sit there and make up a plan like that, because Brady, for my weeks of watching him, he doesn't seem like the type of person that really thinks things through. I mean, let's start with him destroying Titan. So, yeah, I would expect him to sit there and come up with some half-ass plan like that. But I wouldn't expect Victor to come up with a plan like that. Which, let's be honest, this is even hardly a fucking plan. So, yeah, Eli's like, well, who did it? And then they kind of stand there looking stupid. And Victor's like, well, I mean, it could have been, I don't know. I mean, I could have stabbed myself by accident. It could have been one of my rivals, you know. I mean, I'm just not at liberty to say because, you know, they're retaliating against me. And I'm just like, bro, are you serious? Are you serious? Did y'all even remotely think this shit through? I mean, before you even called her and you came out with this plan of, well, I'm going to sit there and tell Victor that Kristen didn't really stab me. No one bothered to sit there and say, okay, cool. Well, who's going to be this patsy for our little plan? No one thought this shit through. Like, so dumb. I'm sorry, but this is just dumb. Like, you gonna bring a cop in there and then say, oh, well, he didn't do it. And then you don't think they're gonna sit there and say, well, who did do it then? And then they're just like, shit, I didn't think he was gonna answer that. Like, really, that's the look on their faces. They had that look on their faces like, oh, well, damn, I didn't think he was actually gonna ask that. This guy actually seems like he knows what he's doing, like he's a professional. I can go on and on about the scene. My point is, they basically was just stuck. Because Eli was like, listen, at the end of the day, either Kristen did it, or you did it, Brady, because Brady confessed. And then Brady was like, but I didn't do it. Eli's like, listen, the DA wants to win. So you're gonna take the fall, Brady, and Victor, you're gonna be going to jail for perjury. So why don't you just think this through, and come back to me with a correct answer? Because if you don't, I'm gonna follow through with this, and somebody's gonna go to jail. So yeah, awesome plan. That's just fucking great. Let's talk about Steve and Jack. We're like another drink. So Steve is in the bar slash, I guess, bar. I was gonna say bar slash cafe, but he's there. He's looking over some old paperwork for his John and Patch, I think that's what they call themselves. Or Black Patch? Patch Black. Patch Black, I think that's what it's called. And so he's sitting there looking over some case files and stuff like that. And Jack comes in there, and at first Jack is like, oh, I see you not drinking in the daytime. That's an improvement. So they talk a little bit or whatever about his, him come back to work for John. Well, come back to work with John. And that's when Jack is like, well, at least you're not sitting there drinking over Kayla. I'm just sitting there thinking, he turns over and he looks at him like, you dick. Really? Like, he was actually doing fine before you actually brought up her name. What the hell is wrong with you? And then to make matters worse, he did what I was complaining about maybe 2 weeks ago, give or take. He starts sitting there saying, well, you should sit there and tell Kayla that you're still in love with her. Bro, not that long ago, you were just sitting there telling Jennifer that he shouldn't be that you shouldn't sit there and tell Kayla because, Steve doesn't want that. Steve wants what's best for her. He's sitting there doing what's gonna make her happy. But now you're telling him to do the exact opposite. Oh my god, seriously? I don't understand that. You literally just had a talk. Actually, you literally practically talked down to your wife about how Steve is doing the right thing. But you're gonna sit there and tell Steve the exact opposite of what you told your wife. I can't be the only person that just I don't even have a word to sit there and describe how I feel about Jack, but I can't be the only person that's just like, Jack, what the hell are you doing? That's not all what Jack did. Jack is like, alright, fine, whatever, your secret is safe for me, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's sort of safe. And Steve turns around. Steve's like, what the hell are you talking about? What did you do? And then, Jack is like, oh, well, I told Jennifer. Steve's just like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You practically told her sister, which you pretty much just, what the hell is the only thing that Steve was sitting there saying. And Jack was like, oh, don't worry, because I talked to her. I told her not to sit there and tell Kayla how you feel. Even though I'm telling you to tell Kayla how you feel. Okay. Anyway, they, well, yeah. He says he's not going to tell, and then he goes to the courthouse. I'm not going to lie. There was just a lot of back and forth, and just Jack just fucking contradicting himself and just really kind of irritating the living hell out of me. But anyway, he went to the courthouse, and before he went to the courthouse, the good brother that he was, after he drank his coffee, was like, hey, you know what? This guy's going to pay for it. Bye! Wow. Anyway, so their scene ends, and then you got Kayla and Lonnie Smith to talk about weddings, and then they talk about something about how Kayla can't be married on the 24th because that's when Steve and Kayla were married or something like that. And then they get this flashback. My God, Steve's hair, like, holy shit. Yo, the dude knows how to rock a mullet, okay? I mean, I'm not a fan of mullets or whatever, but like, you seem like he had a mullet going on, and you know what? It worked for him. Man, how old is this soap opera? I gotta sit there and I imagine it's pretty old, but Jesus, I think they went back in like the 70s or 80s at least. So I thought that was interesting. Other than that, nothing really happened. And then when Kayla left, you still had this unknown person that was there looking at Lonnie. So let's talk about Lucas and Allie. So the minute that Allie said, listen, I'm gonna place my baby up for adoption, that's when Lucas is, well, actually, to tell you the truth, he was a little more calmer than I thought he was going to be. So I give him somewhat credit for it. He was like, listen, let's just talk about it. I don't want you to sit there and make a mistake, blah, 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 blah. And that's when Allie's like, oh, well, you're in my life, and blah, 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 blah. You can't tell me what to do. I'm a grown adult. Listen to me, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, at the end of the day, I kind of felt bad for Lucas to some extent, because before Lucas left, Lucas was like, listen, I'm trying to do what's right for you, but I just keep making things worse. I don't know what to do at this point. And he just walks away. And to some extent, I can understand where he's coming from, because you can talk to somebody until they're blue in the face, but you can't, even with the best intentions of trying to help someone. Even with the best intentions of trying to help someone, you can only do so much. And part of you feels kind of frustrated. The other part of you feel kind of sad because you felt like you couldn't do any more. And you're sitting there dealing with a teenager on top of that. Now, Allie claims that she's an adult, but she still kind of has a teenage mind. And so, to some extent, I was like, you know what? I feel kind of bad for him, because I would be somewhat frustrated too, of trying to talk some damn sense into you and you just not listen to a goddamn thing that I'm saying. So, I don't want to say fuck it because you're my daughter, but at the same time, there's really nothing I can do. So, somewhat fuck it. So he walks away. And I get it from Allie's point of view. I'm trying to a certain extent. You know, she's pregnant, she's young, she doesn't know what to do. She has all this peer pressure from her parents, and she has all these different people sitting there trying to tell her what to do. She's trying to get advice from other people. Hormones. It's just her whole world is just spinning a little bit out of control. And I don't know the situation that's going on with the father. So to some extent, it's like, I don't want to sit there and say I'm giving Allie a pass, but like I'm trying to cut her some slack. Anyway, she talks to Rafe. They kind of get into it about the whole little Dave and, you know, losing custody, and I'm kind of still just like, bro, she didn't sit there and tell you that you couldn't see him anymore. She just said that she, you know, is taking custody away from you. You can see him as many times as you want. I don't really understand the whole like moping thing after a while. It's one thing if she was being spiteful, but it's another thing when she's not. So, like, why don't you just kind of take it as not that bad of a loss at the very best? Anyway, they get into it. They talk about some history. And, yeah, that ends that. Literally, I think Rafe goes to the courthouse, and then Allie just kind of just sits there or whatever. And finally, let's talk about Will and Sonny and how they want to adopt Allie's baby, because they're like, listen, Allie's unsure about being a mother. She's way too young to be a mother. She wants to give this baby up. Why don't we just keep it in the family, you know? And so just they're talking about that, and that's when Lucas comes in, and they tell Lucas the plan of, listen, why don't we adopt Allie's baby? And, well, to be honest, Lucas didn't seem like he was going to explode. And I think this is probably going to be the best case scenario for Lucas, because at least they keep the baby in the family. They're not raised, you know, he's not raised by strangers. He's raised by literally family, and I think this is probably going to work out. Because at first, you know, Lucas was sitting there saying, I don't want him to be raised by, him or her to be raised by total strangers. You know, you have a family that loves and supports you, that's going to help you through this. But Allie kind of saw it as more as just him trying to control her and tell her what to do, and, you know, not thinking for herself, and, you know, whatever. So I think this is kind of just the best case scenario. You know, I used to pause this thing, but to be honest, I think I'm pretty much kind of... Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Nothing major happened. And like I said, Jack... Like I said, I think the three things just kind of annoyed me was Jack just doing his... Oh, you shouldn't... You're telling his wife that you shouldn't tell Kayla about Steve's love confession because, you know, he wants what's best for her, but then you're sitting there telling Steve to go for her. It just annoyed the hell out of me. And the minute he started talking, I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Also, Victor and Brady's plan. Because I expect better from Victor. Brady, yeah, I was just like, what the hell was y'all thinking? That was just so dumb. Like, just so dumb. Anyway, I don't want to go harp on and on about that, but let me know in the comment section what you think about Victor's plan. Did you actually like his plan? Did you not like his plan? Did you think it was as stupid as I thought? Or, you know, whatever. I mean, at the very best, I think that Victor did try to make up for it, but it's just one of those things where at the end of the episode, Victor was like, listen, we tried. You know, I literally tried. And Brady's like, oh, well, I won't accept that. Dude, what do you want? I don't understand that. I mean, Kristen did actually stab her grandfather with a knife. It's not like they just made it up. She wasn't mind controlled. You know, they're not framing her. She actually did that. You know, you're upset with your grandfather for being stabbed by Kristen, but you're not upset with Kristen for practically ruining your family. You know, she's the reason why your family isn't whole. She's the reason why you can't see your daughter. So why don't you take that anger that you have towards him, and why don't you kind of just focus it a little bit on her? Because at the end of the day, it sounds like she actually was the one that broke up a happy home. Anyway, that's how I'm gonna leave it off. Let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong, whatever. Like I said, I don't really know the full history, but from what somebody told me in the comment section, she actually did stab him. So, what the hell? Have a good day, good night, depending on when you're watching this. Be safe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next recap.